My name is Daniel Whitmore. I'm 32 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I've been fascinated by abandoned places. What started as a hobby, exploring forgotten buildings and documenting their eerie beauty, soon turned into an eerie obsession, as my girlfriend says. Anyway, that's how I ended up in Connecticut, searching for the remnants of a long-abandoned village called Dudleytown. Dudleytown wasn't like the ghost towns out west, left behind after the gold rush faded. This place was different. It wasn't just abandoned. It was erased. The road leading to it was unmarked, and the few locals I asked about it seemed uneasy, brushing off my questions or warning me not to go. Nothing to see up there, one gas station clerk told me. Best stay away. That only made me more determined. Dudleytown was nestled deep in the woods of Cornwall, northwest Connecticut, in a valley known as the Dark Entry Forest. The very name of the place set me on edge, but I pushed the feeling aside. The deeper I drove into the forest, the more unsettling it became. There were no streetlights, no signs of civilization, just an endless stretch of trees, their skeletal branches reaching toward the sky like clawed hands. Eventually, I reached what was supposed to be the entrance to the village. There was no road, just a barely visible path leading into the woods. I parked my car off to the side, grabbed my flashlight, and started walking. The further I went, the more I began to question why I was doing this. The woods were eerily silent. No birds, no rustling leaves, just an oppressive, unnatural stillness. I tried to brush off this uneasy feeling, as I thought that, by now, I was already supposed to be used to abandoned places like this. After about 20 minutes of walking, I saw them, the foundations of old stone structures half buried under decades of moss and decay. The remnants of a village that, according to legend, had been cursed. Dudleytown was settled in the mid-1700s by a family named Dudley, descendants of a noble English lineage. But according to local lore, the Dudley family carried a curse, one that followed them from England to America. The curse had its beginning in England in 1510. At this time, Edmund Dudley was beheaded for being involved in a plot to overthrow King Henry VIII, alongside 2 other men. Supposedly at that time, a curse was placed on his family, which stated that all of the Dudley descendants would be surrounded by death and horror. Proponents of the curse claim that the Dudleys then begun to experience a rather unexplained run of bad luck, including illnesses, traumas, financial misfortunes, and deaths. These curses seem to have followed them from England to America. The settlers of Dudleytown suffered misfortunes beyond reason. Strange illnesses, violent madness, and people disappearing without a trace. By the early 1800s, the village was all but abandoned, and by the early 1900s, it was wiped from maps altogether. Some say the remaining settlers simply vanished. Historians argue that Dudleytown's decline was due to poor farming conditions and isolation, but the stories say otherwise. Strange lights in the woods, shadow figures seen at dusk, visitors disappearing, only for their belongings to be found neatly arranged at the edge of the ruins. Even those who came in the modern era, historians, hikers, and explorers, often spoke of oppressive feelings, inexplicable whispers, and bizarre phenomena that followed them home. I wasn't sure what I believed, but standing there among the ruins, I felt a heaviness, as if the air itself was pressing down on me. Still, I started taking pictures, moving carefully through the remains of what once must have been homes, a school, maybe even a church. Then I saw the first sign that something wasn't right. On the remnants of an old foundation, I noticed markings, crudely etched symbols, some resembling runes, others too faded to make out. They weren't random. Someone had deliberately carved them here. But who? And why? I crouched down to take a closer look, brushing away leaves and dirt. I even took a picture of it. That's when I heard it. A breathing. Like someone was breathing just next to me. I spun around, heart hammering in my chest. Nothing. Just the ruins and the darkening woods. Then I thought I heard a whisper. Although I couldn't make up what was said in that whisper, it surely did sound like a whisper. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. I took a deep breath, convincing myself it was the wind. But there was no wind. The trees stood deathly still. I decided I had enough. The sun was beginning to set, and the thought of walking back through the woods in the darkness, with whatever is or isn't going on here, sent a chill down my spine. I turned back the way I came, moving quickly, my flashlight flickering slightly as the sky grew dim. That's when I thought I saw a movement. At first, it was just a shadow between the trees. Maybe just a shadow of another tree? But then I saw it again. Like it was moving after me. But when I was looking toward it, it stopped moving. I didn't want to look, but I looked anyway, into the trees, starting to really panic. And then I saw it. A figure. Tall, unmoving. It wasn't clear if it was watching me or standing with their back towards me. A cold dread settled in my stomach. I picked up my pace, trying to ignore the sense of panic clawing at my chest. The path seemed longer than before, stretching endlessly ahead of me. I glanced back once more. I didn't see the figure. I broke into a run anyway, my boots slipping on damp leaves. The trees blurred past me as I sprinted down the path, heart pounding. Did I see a movement in the trees alongside me again? I didn't dare look this time. The parking spot came into view, my car a beacon of salvation in the darkness. I fumbled with my keys, throwing myself into the driver's seat and locking the doors. My breathing was ragged, my hands shaking. The headlights cut through the darkness as I started the engine. What would my girlfriends say about this? Apparently that I was losing my mind. And then I saw them. Figures. Standing at the tree line, dozens of them. Clearly watching me. Silent. Some of them were small, hunched, barely human. Others were impossibly tall. I slammed my foot on the gas, tires kicking up gravel as I sped away from that godforsaken place. The road twisted and turned, but I didn't slow down. Only when I reached the main highway did I allow myself to breathe again. I made it home that night. I tried to forget, to rationalize what I had seen. I put away my travel bag in the old cabinet next to the entrance door and went to take a shower. I tried to relax as the nice warm water flowed over my body. I was thinking about the strange engravings I saw on the ruins of Dudleytown. I decided to research the symbol first thing tomorrow morning. I can look in archives, old books, even reach out to local historians. I even felt a little excitement now. After the shower, I felt a little relaxed and went to make myself a cup of tea. On my way to the kitchen, I got a glimpse of the area next to the entrance door. My travel bag was lying next to the cabinet. I stopped and stared at my bag, feeling a cold fear settling in my stomach again. I am sure I left my bag inside the cabinet. Not next to it. I didn't know what to think about it. I tried to convince myself that I was so tired that I can't really remember where I put my bag. Maybe I really put it just next to the cabinet. Somehow I was afraid to get closer to the bag right now, so I just continued to the kitchen for my cup of tea. I turned on the kitchen light and started to boil the water. I felt very uneasy, so I lit up this special candle that my girlfriend put on the kitchen counter. She loves it. It's one of these candles that spread a relaxing scent around them. This one is a lavender scent. I used to tease her about it, but now I decided to try it myself. Maybe it will help me to relax somehow while preparing my tea. I started to smell the fine lavender scent. I chose a chamomile tea bag since I once heard that chamomile helps for relaxation too. I was watching the candle light and the shadow it caused on the next wall. I could not ignore the fact that the shadow was stretched too far. It was stretched so long on the wall, it didn't make sense. And it was not moving. Not even a little bit. Anyway, I was about to take my cup of tea to my bedroom when the lavender candle suddenly went out. I stared at it. How did it go out? The windows here are closed. There is no wind. I almost couldn't bear this anymore and decided to take my tea and go straight to bed. I was about to turn off the kitchen light. It flickered for a second. It never happened here. I turned off the light and then I locked and double-checked all the doors and the windows of the house. I finished my tea and went to bed. I didn't feel relaxed at all, to say the least, but I managed somehow to fall asleep. I don't know how long I was asleep before I woke up to the sound of scratching at my bedroom door. I froze in fear now. I'm sure no one is supposed to be in the house right now. I continued to listen. The scratching sounds went on for a little and then suddenly stopped. I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't hear any footsteps leaving either. I tried to forget, tried to rationalize everything, but deep down, I knew. I had disturbed something in Dudleytown. And whatever it was, it looks like it wasn't finished with me. I didn't get out of bed. I was too scared of what I will find behind my door or inside the rest of the house. I could barely sleep anymore that night. In the morning, I felt a little braver. Maybe all these odd things that happened last night were just a bad dream. I hope. I opened my bedroom door and slightly looked at it. There was a symbol carved into the wood. The same one I saw in the ruins.